Grab my stuff. Okay, we're gonna do shorter one today. Today we gotta, around this afternoon, I gotta take a break and then do some recording for the podcast. Anyway, though, for today we want to do some statues of Mr. Tigran. And I think we can probably do that. We'll do that in a normal size base, but higher height. Yep, RPG Maker. Fundamentally, what I want to make is an RPG, like a traditional style RPG. There's a couple of twists to it, but for the most part, the simplicity of the system is a big advantage because I also just want to do RPG Maker stuff. I used to play with RPG Maker like a lot back when I was a teenager, and so it's kind of like I don't know, playing with an old toy, I suppose, that still has a special place for me. I was building games in Unity originally, and Unity is a good solid program, but the big drawback to it is that you kind of have to build all your own infrastructure. And I was doing that, and I set up my own battle. Like I had a UI all built and everything. I went through all the trouble, and actually, I gotta copy this over. Well, let me see. Get a guideline in there. Anyway, though, I built all the UI and all that stuff, and I was kind of ready to go with it. But then, as I started to get into cutscenes, I realized that it was a little bit more challenging to do cutscenes with it, just because commands like move here, go over here. It was stuff you had to program more, and there are like ways that you could do it shorthand. That you could, you create like you create a method, and then you could call the method all the time, and that was how I was doing text. But like calling a method, it's a little bit more abstract, I guess. Whereas like the user interface thing, this is I don't know. I feel like going from Unity to RPG Maker is a little bit like going from C# to Visual Basic, kind of. Or is it maybe is it Visual Basic Advanced? I don't know. The one it's kind of like there's a lot of drop-down menus and things like that. Like it's much simpler and much more user-friendly, and you could say like, well, it's not real programming, but if it completes the task you're after and all, then I feel like you really can't be too hard on it. Because after all, task is completed. Let's see. It's about the base. Oh, yeah. Sometimes my pen cannot find what it's looking for. Okay, so I want Mr. Tigran to be carrying a globe, Atlas style. Come on, guide ruler. Let me go. Trying to work here. here because we want a shoulder. Hello, Wraith. How's it going? Let's get out our concept of Mr. Tikrin. I think I'm still going to change the colors on him. All good, that's good. That's good. Anything interesting going on? There he is. I wonder if I can make him thinner. He's basically just a man. His thumbs are backwards in that concept drawing. I did that. I was just like, something feels really off with his... Okay, and I guess I'll do this first because it'll make it a lot easier to tell where everything is. Body. Can't really put your arms there. Uh-oh. OBS disconnecting. Do we have a little hiccup in the stream? Guy got shot outside your workplace. I used to work at a pharmacy and I had that happen. That's always like terrifying because that stuff will happen, and it's just like nobody did anything. There's just somebody's just like out there. In the case that that happened that I'm aware of. Luckily, nobody was killed. Let me see. Where is this arm, actually? He's got to be like... Let's have him kind of like curled up here. Is that going to be deep enough? Kind of like it to look a little more elevated. Oh, private security. Jacob, what'd you miss? Not a whole lot. But is asking if am I playing with Kleenex? It could be... Is it the sound of the pen scratching on the... Down in Twitch, Byte's asking me if I'm what's the Kleenex sound? I have no idea. Kleenex sound. My guess is it's the pen scratching on the tablet that you're hearing. Best guess, best guess. Yeah, because we got a fairly elaborate Mr. Tikrin statue. Is that evenly spaced? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's not. Let's move it all over then. Okay, that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we should be even on both sides now. Scrangly screen can't make it out. Oh, you can't make out what this is. It's Mr. Tikrin. lifting the world over his head. Volt's got a good setup. He says he can watch your stream from his bed. Reading chat is proving difficult, which is a plus. Can't see what anybody's saying. My wife might be joining me, although I'm not sure. It's kind of it looks like it's a negotiating process. She called earlier today, and now it's like you can hop in, we can hang out and chat. Weird, my pen doesn't quite want to read at the lower sections of this. I guess it should all be the same. The same color, kind of the same metal. I've been debating over exactly what metal this ought to be. I know that the artist who makes it's important that the artist who makes these statues joins the party later. And it's like this is all she's been doing with her life for the past several decades, is making these statues of Mr. Tikrin. And so when you're like, join the party, like do something else, she's just like, oh god, thank you, yes. More or less. Like, I'm so ready to do something else, you have no idea. Okay. So we're gonna want like a great big. It's a swiggle. Swiggle. So the light's hitting from the left, and the like head and stuff are gonna kind of block it. probably will get some outline on some of these other regions. Oops, that's the pencil, just like a softer tool. I'm gonna have to go probably darker colors than all this. That. Kind of enough to go on. That's kind of enough to go on. Like the rough shape of the world. What you drawing? What am I drawing? I'm drawing a part snake, part centipede, lifting the planet because he's the real hero here. The real hero of our story. Probably there, and then he's got like there we go. Snake centipede man lifting the world upon his mighty shoulders. Without him, where would we be? Here we go. See, actually here let's do this, and then like this will kind of help me figure out where is the light actually, and then we'll add the shadows. It's kind of coming because it's all coming from kind of the left down, and it's a great big sphere. There we go, I can do that. Where else we at? Okay, let's go ahead and add a little bit more shine to it because it's a big metal thing. So we kind of want to like, oh, let's actually do even some soft shine, because this won't be our final shine. This will be just the beginning of shiny stuff. Second to last probably. Do I want to add any color to that? I guess I kind of do. Okay, and then one more little shiny blurb. That'll be good. It'll look like these statues are exceptionally well polished. For what it is worth. Is that world lost Africa? It's like down under Mr. Tigran, I guess. I guess it should be down there, shouldn't it? There's like Africa somewhere down there.
Hello.
Hello, Cooper.
Hey. How are things, man?
Things are good.
Yeah. What kind of game are you making?
I'm making an RPG game. The basis of it is your boss is freaking out because the stock price is falling, and you have to travel the known world to kill the former board of directors and recover their stocks. So through stock buyback programs, you can increase the stocks again.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What inspired you to make the game, man?
I don't know. It's something that I wanted to make a good while ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I had plans on it and wound up sidelining it for a good while.
Mm-hmm.
But now is a better time to do it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. God, sorry, I'm awkward.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. And I've been a huge fan of you for a long, long time, man. And this is just so weird that I'm talking to you in person for the first time and all that. Because like I've seen you since like the Rainbow Dash Present days, and before Hasbro took those videos down. It was kind of like Friendship Was Witchcraft. I forgot what the series was called that you did. You still did the same voices as Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie with the Rainbow Dash Presents or whatever. I'm trying to remember what it was called. But it was before like Rainbow Dash, or before Hasbro like took it down and all that, and then that's when you started making Rainbow Dash Presents. I believe that's how the timeline goes.
Are you talking about the Mentally Advanced series?
I believe so. It was before you like did animations. It was kind of like how Friendship Friendship is Witchcraft was.
Yeah, I was doing that stuff before them.
Mm-hmm.
For one thing. I mean, granted, it was a thing that was real popular on the internet on the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was called the Mentally Advanced series.
Mm-hmm. Is it still around anywhere by any chance?
The original stuff, I don't know. After it
Mm-hmm.
was gone from my channel, it went to, or somebody named Astrum Spark picked it up,
Mm-hmm.
and they held it for a while. I think
Mm-hmm.
that their channel may have gotten nuked because they were holding on to a bunch of things that were yeah, technically, like that things that were like under threat from copyright strikes and stuff like that that they didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to lose. So probably they held on to too many of those things and then got nailed.
Yeah. Unfortunate. I I just wish I was able to archive all that stuff before like Hasbro decided to do what they do best and all
Well,
that.
I mean, it's what they all do best. Did you hear the Internet Archive is going down? I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I need to really look into that. I saw like a tweet somewhere. I think it was last night actually. Uh of it like going down and all that and I was like, "Oh shit, really?"
Yeah, yeah. They're like you
Yeah,
gotta
we
you gotta
we just
pay.
don't want to we just don't want to archive anything in our lives now.
No, it's too much. Too much. Not enough. Not enough. Not enough royalties. I guess. I don't know.
Oh well.
Yeah, there's not a lot we can do.
Yeah. I mean, it could be anything at this point or whatever. I don't know much about the topic right now. So I just know that it might be going down or whatever at some point, and I'm sad because that's where I go every now and then if I want to go back to the good old days of the Brony community and just find something that I used to like watch over and over and over.
Yeah, you go back and look
Yeah.
for the old stuff. Yeah, some of the old Brony artists, and this kills me. They went back and they like
Mhm.
scrubbed. We've talked about this. They scrubbed their old material, and
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
oh,
Like,
Jacob Rigby says the whole thing's in a YouTube playlist, so you can still find it. Sunny EQ
okay.
says Volt, so you can still get it.
Okay. All right. I gotta archive this or find some way to just to save it before it goes away.
Yeah, it was. I say it was Astrum Spark was keeping it, but I don't know what happened to that.
Hmm. Like, what was it? I just recently just Jesus. My cat's just meowing at me for some reason. But
Can't
um,
complain.
what is it? What the hell was I about to say? Oh yeah, it's there's like this place called Derby Buru or whatever. This like art site or whatever.
Yeah,
Like
the Derby.
I'm yeah, like I'm recently gotten back into the Brony community again, and I kind of missed out on I was really into it in late in the early 2010s and all that, and then I fell out of it roughly around like somewhere around like maybe 2015 to 2014. And then now I've recently gotten back and I'm like, okay, what the hell did I miss? I don't. I Derpy Bururu wanted to get rid of some poll stuff, slash poll stuff
Yeah,
art. Yeah.
yeah, the area and stuff. There was like
Mm-hmm.
a brief period where it was kind of like, isn't this ironically funny? And then it was like, oh, actually, what if we weren't ironic about it? And then I think they were just kind of like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
party's over.
Isn't it kind of like on the same subject of archiving as well? Because I remember like the site. Like again, I personally never went on Derpy Brewery as much in the earlier days when it first was a thing. I used like places like DeviantArt, of course, and all that, and then that's when I recently started to get back. And again, I found out Derby Brew was there, and I was like, oh, okay. And the site message was like, it's our mission to archive as much pony art and all that. And I think people were mad at the fact that we're not archiving like everything, and we're getting rid of it because of this political message and all that stuff. That's what I've been like at least reading on when I really looked into it.
It's a basic moderation thing. I actually
Uh,
anyone who's just like, oh, we have to preserve the Nazi pony because of the history
mhm.
of the Nazi pony. Like, it's like, do we really need the only thing that she was really was just like, hey, what if there was a Nazi pony? And it's
Mhm.
kind of like that's the whole joke. And if they're just
Oh.
like, and if they're like, hey, what if there wasn't a Nazi pony? I think that that's fine. Um,
Mhm.
Especially because I feel like today a lot of stuff is just very trashy and
Mhm.
sensational and just like clickbait engagement type things. So I feel like eradicating stuff like that is actually okay
Yeah. Yeah,
because
I
it
agree with that.
reduces it reduces the amount of pollution.
Mhm. Yeah, with especially with all the fucking brain rot today. Good. Oh my God. Uh.
I mean, it's pretty bad. Like stuff like that does really well in a lot of social media algorithms. So the less of it you have, really, the better off everything is.
Mhm. Like, what inspired you to draw? Like, did you just kind of pick up a pen one day as a kid and just decided to just draw?
Oh no, I started learning how to draw like when I wanted to keep doing my creative stuff. Like once the mentally advanced series, I couldn't really do it because it was using show stills, and so they would come in and they'd be like, "Oh, we own these," and they
Hmm.
would try to close it down and everything. And so I said,
Hmm.
oh, okay, so I got to do something. I got to like not use show material. I'll do my
Yeah.
own, because then it's a lot
Hmm.
more firmly kind of it's mine, and they can't really be like, oh, this is ours. So I just started learning how to draw, and you can
Hmm.
actually go back and look at some of my earlier stuff, and you will see. Like I
Hmm.
signed it, I was like Greg Hoffman, age 26, because they look like they're just so inexpertly done, and
Hmm.
uh, and so I thought it was kind of funny to put my name on it. Like, no, a child didn't draw these. A grown adult sat down here and
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it just takes a pony to start drawing. Like that's kind of the same way for me right now. Like I said, fuck it. I always wanted to draw, and I just decided to say fuck it and just draw ponies for the first time in like forever. And I'm actually kind of proud of some of the stuff I'm doing, even though it still looks like a 5-year-old did it. But I'm kind of getting okay, at least.
yeah. Well, I mean, with creative, I mean, with anything really,
Hmm.
you always have to start by being not very good, and then
Yeah.
gradually work your way up.
Yeah, like you're not going to be Picasso like at the start of drawing, you know, unless if somehow that was just given to you when you were just born.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't. Not even Picasso. Not even Picasso started off that good. There's
Oh yeah.
this. There's a story. I can't remember who this was, but it was like some famous artist where some lady approaches him and she's like, "Oh, could you draw a portrait of me?" And
Hmm.
so the guy, he just like takes this pen, he sets it down, he draws a portrait of this woman like within about 4 seconds or whatever, without even lifting the pen. But it looks
Hmm.
just like her. Like he just in like a single pen stroke, basically. He's just like, here we are, and it's like a doodle. And she's just like, oh my goodness, you've perfectly captured my likeness in a single stroke of the pen. This is amazing. How much will it cost me? And he goes, I think $4,000 would be fair. And she goes,
Hmm.
$4,000? It took you merely 4 seconds to draw this. How dare you? He says, Madam, this drawing took me all of my life.
Okay.
So it's just like it took him that long to get that good to be able to
Hmm.
do that. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, like it's just was second nature to him at that point, and
yeah, but he
and the
wasn't.
lady was like, mm,
Yeah, but the point is, he wasn't born with the ability. It was like he honed it over many years of practice, and
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when she got indignant about it, like, how dare you?
Like, and speaking of getting nuked, I think it was like a few days ago on 4chan. The moderators did an oopsie and basically deleted some of some threads in some of the boards a few days ago. I think it was actually last week or something like that.
Uh, that they just deleted threads.
Yes, yeah, they deleted threads, and some people like I'm still sort of new to this 4chan stuff too, or not
Oh,
too, but
that,
I'm new
that's
to it.
that's unfortunate. You missed out on the years when there was any reason to be on 4chan.
Yeah, yeah, I really did. Like I always saw the pony simulator threads, but I never like personally went on there myself because I was like, ah, nah. Like, and plus I was like a fucking 10-year-old kid. Why the hell would I be on there? But, but
Uh,
basically, yeah, I missed the good old days. I really did on 4chan.
yeah. Well, you missed the any reason to be there at all days. In my opinion, at
Hmm.
this point, it's mostly a wash. Like occasionally you will see new thread. Like if you go on there and you check it every now and then, you'll find a thread that might be about something new or
Hmm.
something that like you could comment on. But I don't know if
Yeah.
you've noticed. Like, what boards do you frequent? Is it just MLP?
It really just is MLP right now. I did go. Is there a news thread? Yeah, there was like a news thread or something. I forgot what it was called. But yeah, it's really, to be honest with you, just MLP.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, they've been doing the same, threads for years now.
Hmm.
Um, it's honestly almost comical. You can like not visit MLP for probably a couple of months, and then
Hmm.
come back and you'll see functionally like the same generals. So,
Hmm.
Spelldon points out Discord has replaced 4chan in function. I actually don't know. I think that's kind of true, but I feel like so 4chan was like a really large forum,
Hmm.
and I feel like Discord has replaced a lot of what forums used to be.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of like, what is it? God, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what to say right now. Sorry,
Oh, that's
because
okay.
like it's I can see that a bit too as well. Because it's I feel like on Discord it's you have to make a community or whatever and then advertise it everywhere somewhere. I don't know how servers get big on here. I still don't know, even though I've been using Discord since 2016. Uh, but I what is it? God, damn, I can't speak. But yeah, I feel like it's just community or building a community on Discord is completely different than what 4chan was or whatever. I don't know how to describe it, to be honest.
Well, it is different.
Hmm.
Like 4chan, I don't know. Like 4chan used to be a place for news and everything like that, and because no one had usernames, you could argue with everybody, and
Yeah.
they just had to deal with it. You know,
Hmm.
you you
Like, hmm.
you'd put them down for having incorrect opinions, and they'd never know it was you in theory. Although I think the moderators always knew. That was one of the big drawbacks, and they could. The moderation was always a little bit corrupt, and but it was like not present early on. And
Hmm.
so, like the best years of 4chan were back when really nobody was supervising anything, and
Oh, really? Mm.
yeah, because the boards were largely. Um, well, why do you say that artist that worked on the Centipede is a fraud? What's wrong with it? She's great. How dare you? See if he justifies this heinous accusation. I don't. But anyway, the what was I saying? Um,
It was about 4chan being less moderated and all that stuff way back then. And is it being moderated as much now, to be honest? Like,
it's still being moderated. The guy who took it over had a lot less interest in moderating it on the whole.
mhm.
I didn't really think about shadows. I was gonna just like flip this asset, but then
Mm.
I don't think I really wanna. Or should I? I guess I shouldn't be lazy. But that means I'm basically gonna have to redo all the shading and everything.
Ah, are you gonna have to like copy and paste the asset but with different shadowing?
I mean, basically, I'm gonna have to delete all the shading layers and do it the other way.
Oof.
I mean, that's fine. Statue, right? Because the statue's tiny.
Mm.
Oh, he's accusing. Okay, I see. Um, the statue. It's a pretty big statue. It's like about twice as tall. Like it's not that. It's just like a statue in front of a gate. It's like twice the size of a person,
Mm.
and it's just decorating the gate.
Is this like in front of like the business building where they do all their stock exchanges?
No, it's in front of his house.
Uh,
There we go. Okay, goodbye. I guess all the shading pretty much. Just about. We can leave the flats. The flat stuff. Okay, so that does mean, however, that we're gonna change what looks dark and what doesn't look dark. Which isn't too much, but
I know my stable said a thriving community is like 6 regular posters in a channel. What about our Discord conversation earlier? Then
that's how you know. That's how you know you have a healthy community when it's just 6
exactly,
guys.
exactly
So,
6 regulars.
yeah, six regulars, and they're all angry. None of them are happy with the way things are going.
Yeah.
I was gonna joke. So back in the day, I feel like Discord has really replaced what forum functionality used to be. When I was young, back in the day, people used to just like make forums all the time, and it was very common for them to see like this is my forum,
Mhm.
and there was the same kind of like insular stuff and like weird politics that you really didn't want to touch and
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah. I remember once being invited to a forum like randomly. I can't remember why. I think I was like on a different forum, and I said something, and the guy was like, "Hey, you seem pretty smart. I've set up a forum just for smart people. Come hang out." And normally, like that's usually not like anytime someone's like, "Oh, you're really smart. Come hang out." It's a kind of a red flag because they're kind of like, "Oh." Like I've heard one of the best ways to scam somebody is to convince them they're too smart to be scammed. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but anyway, though, it wasn't that. I think he was just a younger person, and they were just like, "Yeah, come to my server. Be smart on my server. I'm trying to collect intelligent people who are smarter than the average." And so I went on there, and like it was all like really dumb, like teenagers and they really weren't having like very intelligent conversations. It was all pretty much about as it was just very stupid. Like I can't
Mhm.
remember anything they talked about, but it was hilariously like I don't know. Like at the time, I think I might have been 14 or something like that. And it's just like, yeah,
Mhm.
smart, a secret smart forum. That sounds super cool. I'm all for it. I'll do it. And then you get there and they're like, oh, okay. This is like a relatively dumb guy thought I was pretty smart, and then
Ah, yeah. And this is like way, way back in the day, like when you were like young.
yeah, when I was well, I mean, like when I was a young teen.
Ah.
And I feel like so modern discords are kind of like that a lot, where you get invited into like somebody's little, like their esoteric little discord, and or
Hmm.
it'll be revolving around a particular e-celebrity or something like that. And a lot of what it winds up being is I don't know, that same like, yes, welcome to this is a terrible place, run while you still can, do not be here. Save yourself. And this Discord has you covered on all that now. Anytime you want to be somewhere
Hmm.
where you really don't want to be, it's great for that.
Yeah, and you see a lot of like schmucks just talking about stupid stuff that you really just don't care about. Like I can say that I'm into way too many servers right now myself. Really more just fan servers than anything else. I'm not in like no secret Discord server yet, but but at the same time I'm not even active in any of these Discords to be honest. Like I kind of get the same feeling like even though no everyone hated this platform, uh Discord to me feels like a Google Plus. Like Google what Google Plus used to be back then.
Google
You
Plus
have like
was trying to be, maybe. It's a bit of a dig on
y-
Discord.
I don't know, but I found these results on Search.
y- yeah, yeah, I love Discord a lot more than Google Plus. Uh, but it honestly somewhat feels like what Google Plus and Google Hangouts used to be at the time. Because the only reason why I say that is because I've met some really good friends on there that I still talk to till this day, even though I was like a 13-year-old kid and all that. and
Uh,
and I got to be a part of some communities here and there and be stupid and just like talk about ponies when I used to be in there.
Speaking of Jack Fish, he's finally caught a stream. Congratulations, Jack. We've been doing these streams every day for mostly the video game stuff.
Hmm.
I don't know if we'll stream necessarily anything else. In the past, I've tried streaming like writing, um, but it's a little bit harder because the writing I feel like demands more direct attention, and so it's distracting to be talking to people and trying to write at the same time.
Yeah. Because you're thinking of the story. It's like, what can I do? What's my beginning, middle, and end? How can I make this story? Oh, hey, hello, chat. How are you? Anyways, back to my story.
Where was I at? Yeah, so I probably won't do any writing stuff, but at some point here I need to get better up another script for another Where Are We episode, because I know everybody's jazzed to have more of those. And he and I have talked about like what are our plans for that. So we do have plans for it. Just needs to I just need to get something into his hands so that he can work on it. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly when I'm gonna do it. Maybe if I do, sometimes I got a lot of ideas for the podcast episode, and that it makes it go by really quick. Production goes by, and if I have some extra time, I can maybe get the episode done. Otherwise, maybe a weekend or something when I'm not streaming. Final level of shine on the body. And I think that'll do. I know my table says he was into the Google Plus MLPC. He says, you know, Dennis Madden or Brett Stevens.
Mm.
And then Jack Fish.
Brett Stevens sounds very familiar. Honestly, hold on. Let me do some snooping for a second.
Also, hello, Luna Satine. Is Satine the last name of the Luna character from?
That I personally don't know. I actually watched Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel. I just stopped. I honestly stopped watching both after Has Been Hotel went on Amazon. But I personally don't know if that's her last name.
Like I never really watched Has Been Hotel. Like I know of the characters.
It low key to me, like watching the show on Amazon. It felt like a My Little Pony. It was just My Little Pony set in hell with these characters. That's it. Like if you watch the first episode, it's it's literally this almost the same exact opening as the first episode of My Little Pony. Because it says it's like there's this good guy, there's this bad guy, and then it just goes into the story of what the hell is happening in the series and all that. It does almost the same exact thing as My Little Pony did.
Well, the good guy should be God, and the bad guy is the devil, right? Because it's set in hell, or is that not?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, I watched. I feel like I watched an episode of Hell of a Boss. I didn't actually watch. I watched Hell of a Boss. I didn't actually watch. I didn't watch all of Hell of a Boss. I watched some of Hell of a Boss, and I was like, "This is okay," but it didn't like suck me in to the point where I was like, "I gotta watch the next one."
Yeah.
So all I know is kind of just the peripheral stuff, and I keep telling myself like, I'll watch the rest of it here, and I just haven't really gotten to that yet.
I get that.
At some point. Yeah, at some point I'll go in and I'll watch the rest of it.
Yeah, it's what is it? If I remember correctly, even though it's been a hot minute since I watched Has Been Hotel, the story is you can, even though you're in hell, you can still redeem yourself. You can still redeem yourself and go to heaven. And was Charlie, the main character, well, one of the main characters, is running this hotel. It's kind of like she's running this like rehab place or whatever, and
Right.
basically she's trying to get these people that did a lot of sin in their lives when they were alive and all that stuff to redeem themselves so they can go to heaven. But heaven is so corrupt and has so many
Oh, of course, yes.
yeah, and so many like rules. Oh well, hold on, not exactly. Charlie thinks redemption is possible, but there is no evidence that it works until the very end of the season. Yeah, like I forgot who. I'm not gonna spoil it. Never mind. But
Yeah, that figures. No, yeah, Eternal Paradise is. It's a. Of course, there's no reason to go to Eternal Paradise in the plot. Everything you want is pointless. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. It's got its following, and people like it.
yeah. I'm
So
personally not a
flavors
big
are
fan
cool.
of it, but it's all right.
I mean, I've been trying to get the YouTube algorithm to show me more like actual animation projects. So if that, even if it
Hmm.
just like leads it into showing me more stuff that I
Hmm.
actually like instead of
All
I
this
don't know.
corporate stuff that's shoved in your face.
Well, I get a lot of like I don't know. Like if you watch a somebody talks about or shows like what's a good example? Oh, I watched some guy doing some funny things in Skyrim. Like
Hmm.
he's doing these like weird trick shots where it's like you kill a character and then like loot them in midair and everything. And it is like cool, and I was like neat, and then and then like your whole feed is immediately polluted with just like Skyrim videos. It's like, like the only thing I really wanted to see was this one guy. He was cool. I'm done with Skyrim videos though. Thank you, but there's no escape. This is your life now. So I've been trying to not click on that stuff as much, and then that way maybe like I've been clicking on just animations, and even if I'm not that interested in the animation, I just click on it. So that way maybe YouTube will think like, oh, he'll watch animations, and it has worked a little bit. There was one that I saw recently. It was like about this guy who works at a bowling alley. He's trying to find a place to live, and it was funny. It was kind of it was very dialogue heavy,
Mm.
but the dialogue is pretty good. Like at one point he tries to move in with an old high school friend, and he's got like a girlfriend who's sort of she's into astrology, and so they're like, oh yeah, are you like what's your sign? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And she goes, oh, when you were born? And he's like, oh, around this time. And then she's like, ooh, oh, I don't know if that's gonna be okay. Like you're whatever. And then like her boyfriend is kind of like, but it's fine though, babe. Like he'll, maybe he's. And she's like, well, was he born in March? And so it's kind of funny because her boyfriend's trying to, like defend him, but not like step on her beliefs. And so it's like they just have a big argument over whether or not the I don't know. It was funny. It's a good little short.
Yeah, I've been like watching a few what is it indie animations too a little bit. And like I would God, there's some projects. It would be like a very short film or something that's like maybe like 3 minutes or maybe like 8 minutes. I'm trying to find one really quick. Like,
Alright, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
oh yeah, yeah, you're good. But I agree. Vivi writes really, really oddly. To be honest, uh, to me personally, she rushes things too much, or doesn't build up to it to the climax that well. I honestly do think that if Vivi had a lot more freedom with like what is it? A lot more freedom with her with how long episodes could be and how many episodes that she could make. I think Has Been Hotel would have been so much better because when I watched the last episode of Has Been Hotel, it just felt so rushed. It really, really felt so rushed to me, at least. And it felt like they built up they just showed every character and then just said, okay, let's just bum rush the end and all that. I honestly think it would have just been better if it was maybe like 20 something episodes or maybe like 15 really or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like 8 episodes is not enough time to like have a slow burn at the very beginning of the season, and then like, and then that's like again. I just feel like she just had to rush it out because she was so limited to what she could do, because Amazon is like, oh, we only are going to allow you to. It did work for Fallout, yeah, but I think there's just so much stuff that Vivi could have done if she just had a lot of freedom. Like for instance, The Last of Us. I love that game, by the way. It was going to be like a game that I played like over and over and over until like I got really good at it. The Last of Us had so much freedom. Like so much freedom to be able to make like an hour episode, or then like maybe 40 minutes for an episode, and then all that stuff to at least tell a good story. But Fallout isn't an indie project. I don't care. I'm not a big fan of Fallout, to be honest. And welcome back.
Okay. So I didn't want to catch this. Jack Fish asked, what's in the works for Don Somewhere? Right now, a little RPG game, which I can't tell you for sure exactly how much appeal it's going to have to the broader whatever. But an RPG game is what we're doing right now. We're going to do more Where Are We episodes. The next one is going to be about AJ and Rainbow Dash. AJ is trying to navigate all the rumors of like Dash and AJ are dating. They're like, listen, you need to tell everyone we're not dating, and Dash doesn't get it. Yeah, it looks great. Thank you. It's all a little wobbly, but the good news is that part of that is it's a little bit inexpertise, a little bit like I actually don't hold my pen properly. There's like a straight up and down way you're supposed to hold a pen normally, and it helps you draw straight lines a lot better. And I've tried to learn it, but it felt very awkward. And this is not a good reason to stop doing it, because you need to keep doing it until it stops feeling awkward. But because it felt awkward, I abandoned it right away and was just like, yeah, I'll just keep drawing like, I'm writing my name. And as a result, my line work is not very smooth. But it's consistently not very smooth. And so long as I'm the only one who keeps doing this art, a lot of it will all consistently be kind of a little bit lumpy and wiggly. And it looks intentional because it's all consistent that way. It's the advantage of a solo project, is that it looks like a single person did all of it with a unified vision. It's not unified, just a single unifying flaw that I haven't corrected. And I'm now locked into because I've already started the project. Really like Jim of the Romantic Journey. I don't hear it very often. I appreciate that, Luna. We had plans for Jim, and it was tough though, because it took like a lot of work to produce those episodes, but they didn't do as well as we were hoping they would. I don't know. I don't go into it. But we did have. I don't know if you saw the Origin comics. We used to have like the Origin of the World, of the Jim World comics on our website. They're no longer there, but it was like in the original. The whole universe began with fighting. There wasn't like a big bang. There was a big argument, and that was how the universe began. There was no beginning or end to the argument. It's always been and always will be. And everything else in the universe was created as part of justification, for the argument. Yeah, there was a snake and a boar, and they had a big argument. They have been arguing for all eternity. There's never been a beginning or end to the argument, and that is the gist of it. This is a big screen. I don't think I want it this big. Yeah, and then they created Monkey to solve the argument, and it turned out that Monkey was useless at that task. So after that, they kind of just moved on. Then they created gnomes. And the gnomes were to be, they were like to tabulate all the who's right and who's wrong. But because there was no end to the argument, their work is never finished. And they've continued to try to figure out the winner to the argument ever since. The process is endless. The end is never the end is never the end is never the end.
The ride never ends.
The ride never ends. The argument never ends. It all goes on forever. Yeah. I don't know. It's that I kind of wonder. One of the first things we did is we introduce a dog and then shoot the dog. And so there's probably something to be said about whether or not that was going to have mass appeal to begin with. Bring back Jim. We would need to get the voice actors again and everything. I don't know. If I were to go back and do Jim again, I think that I would change some of the child cast, or maybe focus a little bit more on the characters that I liked a lot more. I'd probably have my favorite characters were Dell was fun, Nora, Alexis, and honestly, if we had one character named Nico, and his whole thing was it's gotta check. We had a character named Nico, and his whole thing was that he had all of his ancestors. He was like the Avatar, where he had a line, everyone that came before him was part of his was like a past life that he could confer with about this or that or whatever. But what it actually was is he had no control over it, and there was just a bunch of opinionated old people that were constantly polluting his thoughts, and there was no escape for him. He had no choice but to always be listening to their opinions on everything, and they gave him a lot of conflicting advice because they didn't all agree. So he was kind of a nervous wreck, but he was also surprisingly wise for his age, because he was always listening to a bunch of adults that were in his head. I don't know. He was a fun straight man character, and yeah, if we'd kept on going, Nico probably would have stayed in. He was a little bit dull on his own, just because he I'm gonna eliminate this just because he was a very safe guy, but that's the problem with your straight men, is that they tend to be very safe people because they're sane. Oh yeah, the argument between the boar and the snake was about who owned the most nothing. Yes.
I just realized that you were reading Twitch chat as well as YouTube. I was like, who's Jack for a second?
Oh yeah. We got two chats. Earlier
Yes.
I was also doing
And then there's
Yeah, there's Picardo. We could be doing Picardo, but I did Picardo and we got one viewer on the first day, and then the second day it was empty. So yeah, Picardo used to be where I did all my streaming, and
Oh,
Picardo's nice because they will always inform people who've signed up to be informed of your streams. Like
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
like
so
I get notifications from you when you're live on off of YouTube, but I didn't even know you had a Twitch until now. But basically, I always got notifications on YouTube and all that. And Pictario, I like that because there's some art streams that I sometimes watch, and there's just a movie on the side, and then I can see that I can just see like the artists just doing their thing, and I'm like, wow, that's cool. Oh, hold on for a second.
seems like boom. Try and spread this out. One thing I like, it's kind of fun, I feel like, is the strategic process of making maps in RPG Maker that don't really look inorganic or grid formed. A lot of that is just about creating patchy little, like, okay, this is an incomplete, like, we're not totally covered in grass, we gotta add like little cracks in the pavement.
Damn, some phone go to burr. Jesus. Wasn't was it there's this game, this pony game that came out like way back then. Wasn't it, yeah, wasn't Super Lesbian Horse RPG like made on here as well?
It could be. I suspect that the Final Fantasy remakes were made in RPG Maker. Like I was looking at footage of those remakes, and like the particle effects and a lot of things that it all just like looked very much like RPG Maker games.
Mm-hmm.
And it would, I don't know if they really did that, but it would crack me up if it turned out that that's what they did.
Yeah, because like when I got the game for the first time, and someone in chat, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, but it he said, or they said, yeah, it was. But I remember when I
Vold.
Vold? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember when I first got the game, I had to install RPG Maker to just play the game. And that's why I was like, wait, are you using the same program that like Super Lesbian Horse RPG used?
Yeah, I mean, it's a popular program. You know, it's straightforward to use. It doesn't really require a lot of programming knowledge or anything like that. You can do programming in it if you like, but it's not required to do to work with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it doesn't surprise me, especially for like a fan project. It's something like you can sit down, and if you have the assets, then you can actually put together quite a lot of stuff really quick. The slowest thing about working in RPG Maker right now for me is just that I have to keep stopping to like make another asset. So like for right now, I need to make a wall, like just a single wall. Doesn't even need to be like a lot of wall. I kind of have I have bricks already. could just reuse those, but then there's no like edge to them. They don't have any edges.
Hmm. When
But
do you
anyway,
think? Oh, sorry.
but anyway, though, if I had all the art assets as it was, then I could just import them all. We'd make a game like actually pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. But when do you? Sorry. But when do you think of? When do you think you're going to release this game?
I don't know. when it's done.
Yeah, it's basically a passion project or just a side project for you, I assume.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's passion behind making it. Like I like RPGs. I've liked the traditional style RPG. Speaking of, so Luna's saying, I was talking about like the remakes, and she thought I meant the Final Fantasy VII remake rebirth thing. I don't understand why Final Fantasy decided that they needed to get away from the standard like turn-based stuff that they used to do. Yeah. Musical keys from the start of one episode of Final Fantasy. I don't really remember it. I don't remember that rant. I would do rants and then, like, I don't know. I sometimes forget the things that I say, and then I later go back, and it's, they're much funnier to me because I'm like, this guy has my sense of humor. I made this joke a couple of times, but yeah, they're responsible for Kingdom Hearts, and yeah, I don't know. Like, I just don't get why they felt the need to move away from the turn-based thing, because I mean, I preferred having control over everybody in the battle and being able to say like, okay, you go over here and go over there, and then I'll be here, and like that was a good system. Final Fantasy X was fine, and then after that they were just like, oh, we can't do that anymore. And yeah, I don't know why not. I don't know what's bad about it. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong. It was a good system. It's a working system. We don't have to change just to change. But anyway, though, I don't know. I like the RPG stuff. And I don't know. So it's something that I want to do, but I'm gonna release it, and I don't know. We like talked about a price point at one point. I said something like maybe $10. So my hope is to work on it until at least it's a $10 game, and then realistically, I have like okay, these things are going to happen in the game, and then once we get to the end of it, it's done. And hopefully by the time it's done, people would be like, oh yeah, I'd pay $10 for this. And then I can release it and sell it to the 5 or 6 people that hear about it, and well, we really just have to make all the cost back of whatever. I don't know. So Zippy points out, it's market trends. The turn-based games market is not big enough to sustain the modern Final Fantasy budgets. Yeah, games getting more expensive is one of the things that, honestly, like around when they released, what is it, the Xbox 360, that was when you started to see a lot of genres and a lot of companies kind of die off, because they couldn't like afford to keep catering to a really small audience, so they began to cater to a really big audience, or trying to cater to bigger audiences. just ranting about music. I don't know what. I do not recall that rant. I'm not sure why I had a problem with A minor as such, but A minor probably did something to deserve it at the time. I don't remember what it did. Probably something.
You've been on the internet for so long to the point where you just forget about everything.
I mean, like, I've been making stuff for ages,
Yeah.
so it's easy to kind of forget sometimes. It's like, did I say that? Did I say that? Why did I say that?
Yeah, why didn't I? What made me just say that day?
Yeah, what possessed me to say that? Like, and then I have to justify it because sometimes people will tell me things I said out of context. I'm like, did I say that? That sounds really inappropriate. Why did I? Like, why did I think that was okay?
Yeah. Oh well. Oh well.
The joke is that it was funny. The fact it was inappropriate is what made it funny.
Yes, exactly. It's the shock value. Sometimes it's the shock value, sometimes it's just because you think it's funny or you just want to say it. I don't know. It could be anything. But going kind of back where we talked about earlier, with 4chan and all that stuff. What was it? Have you ever heard of Mare Fair?
Yes.
Yeah.
People have asked me, will I go and stuff like that. We've Petter and I have talked about it. I don't think we're gonna go. I mean, it's a little out of the way for Petter. He's over on the West Coast,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. They don't do like room comp or anything for guests, and that it's a little tougher to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Without that, so.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, like for me, I really wanted to go, but at the same time, right now, it's like I can't right now because financially I can't right now. As much as I really want to go, and all that, I unfortunately can't. Even though like I was there for MO/MOP con and everything and got to see like somewhat of there was a panel on MLP con that talked about the con and talked about like how legit they were, and I was like, oh my god, I would love to go to this. And plus it reminded me of the good old days of the Brony community, and I was like, fuck it, I would love to go. But I unfortunately can't.
Yeah, it's I don't know. They'll stream a bunch of stuff from it, I guess. Do you go with people? Do you have anybody that you go with? Because I feel like the socialization is really the best part about any of the conventions.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I personally don't go with anybody. I'm an antisocial guy, and this is my first time being social for a long time. So
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, I would love to go with somebody or whatever, but at the same time, I don't. I don't have anyone to go with, or I don't know really any. I personally don't know any like bronies around me either. Like finding a brony is very, very rare. Like you can find a furry, but you can't find a brony anywhere. And even then, will they tell you that they're a brony at the end of the day and all that shit?
Will they own up to it? Will they admit to their flaws?
Yeah. Will they admit to their mental disease?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the socialization is the best part. When we went out to Babs,
Mm-hmm.
one MLP is very proud of Mayor Ferris and Sergeant Recca. Claudia says I should go. I don't know, because Claudia's my wife, which is in the chat. So she's just like, you should go, which actually it's a lot of weight behind her when she pushes me. I was maybe not gonna go to Babs, and then Claudia was just like, you should go to Babs, and I was like, okay, I'll go to Babs.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but going to Babs. When I went to Babs, one of the things that we did that was a lot of fun was I hung out with Jack from Scooter Tricks Abridged, and he introduced us to a board game called Everdell. And that was a lot of fun. And so then I picked it up. I got a physical copy of Everdell now, and also a digital copy of Everdell to play with people online.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But that kind of stuff, that's like, I don't know, that's the most fun aspect of going to those things is hanging out with friends, socializing. Sometimes you meet new friends, but I mean, like, when the West Coast one, the nice thing about BabsCon is that a couple of the guys from the server live on the West Coast. So when I go out to Babs, some of them can make it out. One of them was sad they couldn't make it this year. He would have had to come in from Utah, but it's a little bit closer, and it's not as onerous as going out to Florida and everything like that. I don't think I know I have one friend in Florida, but I don't think that he could take the time off. He's busy a lot of the time, so if I went out there, I might be able to like catch lunch with him, which would be cool, but. Yeah, I don't know. It would. I'm also not sure how close he is to the actual location. That was the other thing is that Claudia and I have been talking about like if we try to do a Disney trip, it's like, do we go to California? Do we go to Florida? I've got like a friend in Florida we could go, and so I talked to him even. I was like, if we went out to Florida for Disney, could you hang out? And he's like, well, I couldn't. He's like, I couldn't hang out much. He says I could get dinner with you. It's like, I do want to get dinner with him. But I don't want to go out to Florida just for dinner.
Yeah, you want to hang out with the homie.
Yeah.
Yeah. like trust me, I wish I had friends to be able to like. I have friends. I have friends, but like none of them are like as interested in ponies or like any other convention that I really like would really love to go to as much as I am. Yeah, guys, I swear I have.
I swear,
I have a D&D group. I promise. I play Magic the Gathering every other night. I promise.
Every other night. That's pretty frequent.
Yeah, it's my friend group loves just doing a lot of last minute things on me, and as you said right there, like you have friends in the West Coast and you have a friend in Florida. Like thankfully I have local friends where I can just like drive 20 minutes to their house or whatever and be able to do something stupid or whatever, or just hang out with them and watch a movie or something like that. And like as you said, like socialization or just socialization of a convention is like the best and everything like that. And what is it? For example, I'm not going to like show pictures because I literally raised my right hand. I went to MomoCon, by the way, but I raised my right hand to one of the voice actor or several of the voice actors saying, I will not post this online, but I will tell the story. So when I went to MomoCon, I went to the voice actor panel, and or not the panel, the signatures or whatever, where you had to like fucking pay like $60 just to get a signature from the voice actor. And there was a few Has-Been Hotel voice actors that were there, and I just thought it would be a funny idea to bring a Bible and have them sign it.
Okay.
And,
It
and
gets,
so,
it gets sacrilegious here. They're like, now, you may have objections here to this, but
yeah, but basically, I went up to them and I was like, oh, I have something. I went up to the voice actor of Stolas, and I was like, hey, I got something very funny for you to sign. And he was like, oh God, what? And I just put the Bible on the desk and slowly pushed it towards him, and he absolutely lost it. you, I mean, I don't mind sending you the picture. I'm not posting it on the server, but I'll send it to you if you want to see it. But he basically he basically crossed out the name of the person that authorized the Bible and put by Stolas, and then of course put his name on it or whatever, his signature on it and all that shit. And then said at the very bottom, even though he does it with everybody, P.S. See you in hell. And I was like, all right, cool. I got Stolas. Now let's get Blitzo. So I honestly thought that I wasn't going to be able to get him to sign it or whatever. But no. Sorry, I'm getting my timeline confused. So I went over to Glamrock Freddy, or the voice actor of Glamrock Freddy, and joked around and said, "Hey, do you want to sign in this Bible?" And he was like, he was thinking about it. He was really thinking about it, but he was like, no, let me. I don't want to sign it, but if you can get the voice actor of Blitzo or Richard to sign it, I will sign it. So I was like, okay, bet. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over to Richard and see if he wants to sign it. And so I wait in line. I'm twiddling my thumbs, and I'm like, oh God, I wonder if he's gonna do it. And so I pay the $60. I go up to him and say, so I got a little funny story. I got a little funny story. Forgot his name. I really wish I knew his name. But the voice actor of Glamrock Freddy dared me to get a signature from you in this Bible, and he will sign it for free if if you sign it. And he was like, oh, okay. And so he signs it as Blitzo, and then I go back in the line for Freddy, but unfortunately he's about to go on lunch. The con staff know what I'm doing. They know exactly what I'm doing. And I go over the con staff see me waiting in front of the line and said, oh no fucking way they got it. And so they come up to me, I show them, and then I get back in line. And the voice actor of Freddy was like, oh my God, are you fucking serious? And he was like so disappointed in Richard.
I mean, it became an imposition on him. So
yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm gonna do it just to make him less happy, and that'll be there we go.
Yeah, and so that's how I got a free signature from the voice actor, and it was just funny, and it was just he basically told me, hey, tell Richard over there, Aloysius is very disappointed in you. Because it's some kind of inside joke between them. I personally don't know about it at all. And so I just go back in line, tell him that, or tell Richard that. Then Richard is like, okay, how about you tell him over there. I forgot what he said, but then they realized that he went on lunch, and that was the best social interaction I ever got out of a con, or just the best con moment I ever got, to be honest. Just messing around like that. So, yeah, that's what I did. Oh, Brendan. Yeah, Brendan Rogers. Yeah. Well, is it Brendan Rogers? I swear to God, is it Rich? It's the guy that went on Power Rangers and the voice of Zim, or Invader Zim. I swear to God, his name was Richard. Unless if I'm getting my names confused, I don't know. It's been so long. Oh, Blitzo. Yeah, yeah. God. I just realized I said Blitzo. Sorry.
I'm gonna use the restroom again.
Yeah, you're good. It's Moxie. That's what I'm getting confused at. It's Moxie. It's Moxie. I haven't watched the show in like forever. I'm sorry. I am not on my I am not on my lore of Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss. But yeah, either way, that's what I did at MomoCon. It was pretty cool. I have friends, very convincing. Yes. Yes, it's very, very convincing, Jack. I promise you. I promise you, I have friends. Oh, Jesus. Guys, I promise you, I have friends. Does anybody know about Button Mash? I can do his voice, as you can hear. It makes me sad that, it really does make me sad that Button Mash Adventures... Oh my god, I'm sad that Button Mash Adventures only got one episode. It had so much potential to be so good. It looked so good, too. Maybe Shade Fox is here. You never know, even though I'm not him, to be honest with you. I just did the voice one day and I was like, oh shit, I can do it. Okay. You weren't around for when Courage the Cowardly Dog released its pilot. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't on this earth around that time. Sometimes I still hear his voice. What do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean, the pilot was kind of terrifying. Like, Eustace becomes a chicken. Like, I actually didn't like it. I thought it was when that came out. I remember thinking it was too scary, and I didn't want it to win the vote. It did win the vote because people were impressed with it and everything. But as a child, I was like, I hope Courage loses. Sort of thing shouldn't happen to a dog. Sort of thing just shouldn't happen. Period. A man should not turn into a chicken. I mean, it was just the way that they went about it. Like, they have him like he's like. It was, I think what really got me was the fact that like he starts off and he's like clearly in pain and like deeply uncomfortable and then but then he like comes around to it and he's like okay with gradually transforming into a chicken. And as a child, like that was not cool. I did not like that. I was like, no. If he is in pain from this, I would like it if we continued to behave as though it was a bad thing. I don't like Eustace being like, oh, I'm okay with it now. It's like, no, it's not okay. It's not okay. It's a bad time for him, and we all need to continue treating it like Courage was still treating it like a bad time because it was.
What's your favorite episode from Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Gosh, it's been a while since I've seen Courage.
Yeah, I need to watch the show, honestly. Like, I saw it as a kid, and of course, completely freaked me out, and just, I never watched it after that. But then I'm like, since I'm an adult now, I'm like, dude, you should just watch it. Stop being a pussy, just watch it. And I'm like, okay, fine.
There's a couple of them that are really memorable. I liked the one. There was like one where there was a guy with like a giant mobile fortress shooting sadness cannonballs, and it was so melodramatic. I just enjoyed how silly it was, and yet how obscenely, like, overly dramatic they were about the whole thing. And I think that like what won the day was ultimately Muriel's cooking. He's like, oh, this is actually really good. I feel better. And but like they have this like music, and it's like operatic, like wailing and everything. But it's not nearly as serious as it like they just play it so. I don't know. That one is really memorable. I like that one a lot. That one might be one of my favorites. But I also, and I didn't really like the episode very much, but I really like the Cajun Fox. Not because any of his hijinks were especially memorable. I just like that every time he was on screen, they started playing the accordion. And I just enjoyed that was like every time this fox shows up, we get a little accordion bit.
I think I saw a clip of that. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, he's not that memorable of a character himself, but the fact that he always had a little accordion theme every time he showed up, I really like that about him.
But going back a little to our conversation a little, and of indie animations, how did you feel about Button Mash Adventures?
Oh, I mean, I wasn't like one of the major fans of it or anything like that. Like, it was fine, but it was clearly. It was meant for kind of the audience that were just like earnestly like, yeah, love and friendship, Minecraft. Like I saw that as being kind of directed at the younger fans more.
Yeah. Yeah, like to me, I really liked how the show looked because it almost looked like the official show. I just loved the animation. Like Jan Animations was so like just talented on just animating, and it just looks so almost one for one like the show. And
I mean that's how he got busted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like Hasbro was like, "Bro, you're too good. Fuck you."
Yeah, well, I mean, it looked exactly like their own material, and I'm pretty sure that made them very nervous. So yeah, that was how it got in trouble, was that it looked too close to the yeah, to the show.
Yeah, like I really wish that we could have saw more from the show just to see what it could have been, at least, like, and see what kind of story we could have had.
Like what, with Button?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess the show staff didn't really have. Did the comics ever do anything with Button? Because I feel like the problem was that once, I mean, like, they were like, okay, so Jan can't do anything with Button, but by the time that they went after him, it was kind of too late. He had already sort of owned Button. And then, like, like the fans would have just been upset and been like, "Hey, you can't kill Jan Animations and then make your own stuff about Button. That's Jan Animations thing." A lot of people didn't even know that Button was from the show. They thought
Oh, yeah.
Button, yeah, they thought he was an original character, and so they would have thought that Hasbro was stealing. They were like, no, he's just in the background. He's our character. We own him.
But to answer that, I personally don't know. I didn't even know there's like a comic on the guy, if there is even one.
Yeah, I mean, IDW released a couple of things. Some of them were more popular than the others, so I don't know if like Button wound up being released in something that I didn't hear about as much, or if he
Like-
ever got a spotlight or anything.
Like the only thing that I've saw after the show was like Don't Mine at Night, and that's it. Like that's all I saw from Button after Hasbro did its thing, and I was like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah, Don't Mind at Night I think was the most popular thing that he did, but there was there were a couple episodes that he did that were just like slice of life with Button.
Yeah.
But for sure, I mean, like he really took off with Button. People really liked his depiction of the character, and then yeah, like I said, because it was show quality. People assumed that he owned the character, and Hasbro was not okay. Hasbro noticed.
Yeah. God, and did you know that if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but like My Little Pony's coming back next year apparently.
I haven't heard anything about that. I mean, you might be right. I won't say you're wrong because I have nothing. I have no way to say.
Yeah.
I have nothing contrary on that. But
Like what was it? Like there since I'm still new to this 4chan bullshit, but there was a thread that showed a screenshot of like just My Little Pony. I have it actually. I'll post it in the server. Where is it? I swear to God I saved it. Don't tell me I'm an idiot.
I would assume that anything that comes out of 4chan is a lie these days.
Yeah.
I also would have assumed that anything that comes out of 4chan is a lie in the olden days. You should always assume that 4chan is lying to you.
Like take it with a grain of salt.
For the most part, yeah. Because I mean, like that. I don't know if you've seen the old meme. People don't post it as often anymore. But Buster being like, "Would somebody do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?" And that's kind of been a joke about 4chan for the longest time. It's like, absolutely. Have you seen us here?
Yeah. Like, I was kind of doing some research on it too, and I saw like a wiki page on it, and I was like, oh shit, is it actually real? And apparently it's going to be made by the guy that like made the My Little Pony movie, like not like Equestria Girls, but God damn. What was it?
The
I never really saw
like the actual film, the one they produced in Toon Boom.
I believe so. I don't know. I never. Again, I stopped watching My Little Pony at like season 5. That's when I stopped. And then that's when they made like another movie, but it wasn't like the Equestria Girls theme or whatever. It was actually ponies, and I was like, oh shit, okay, and never watched it.
I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that was Megan McCarthy that at least directed that. The Broken Alicorn fanfic movie. Volt points out. Sergeant Rekka says, he saw that screenshot and it is legit. Hasbro's trying to make some MLP stuff. He was not impressed with the 2017 movie. One of the things I heard, I actually didn't watch it. I can't remember if anyone in my group was trying to get me to sit down and watch it. I watched Equestria Girls expressly because people were like, "You have to watch it, Greg." And I was like, "Do I really have to?" And they were like, "Yes, because we're going to make you." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So
Fuck you. You're watching it.
yeah. So I kind of like. So I watched the first Equestria Girls, and then no one was like, I don't know. The first Equestria Girls wasn't even like kind of funny in a bad way. It was just kind of bad. So I watched that and I was like, well, all right. So that happened, and then the actual movie came out, and then nobody really wanted to watch the pony movie. So all I really caught were snippets of like, what are people saying, and I basically just recreate the scene. I think without even thinking, I just used the exact same door frame I used anyway. It's pretty dumb. Maybe did I not? What did I do?
Damn, okay, so I don't have the screenshot. What the hell? Like, I swear to God, I saved it. Before
It's slightly different. It's very subtly different. Functionally. Okay. Well, whatever. Oh yeah, so Sergeant Rekka, what he says, it's like the first episode of the show, even though it'd been out for a long time. That's kind of what I heard, was that it felt like the characters had all gone back to previous characterizations. And it made a lot of sense because Andrea McCarthy had been working on the first 4 seasons, I think, the first 3 or 4. I want to say it was the first 3 or 4, like... Lauren Faust was there. She was the director for like the first 2, and then she was there for like not Kevin McCarthy. Andrea McCarthy was there for like seasons 4 and 5, 3, 4, and 5. I think she was director then, and then they switched over to the new guy took over. But she was kind of operating on the characters that were there for that were there originally, and it made sense that was those were the characterizations that she went with. But by the time that the film had been released, they had already been doing things like having Rainbow Dash join the Wonderbolts and stuff like that. So it was kind of like the character arcs were over with, and it was really awkward to then go back and just like have the characters behave as though their stories were not already concluded. And I mean, granted, I feel like I would have done the exact same thing in her situation, because there's really no story to tell after you've ended the character arcs, after you're like, Dash is done. Like, she's reached the peak of her career, she's done. You know, Rarity is done. She reached the peak of her career, she's done. Fluttershy delivers exposition. That's the peak of her existence, she's done. You know, to just end the character, and then like they would not only do that, but they would end those character arcs in a way where there wasn't really more story to tell. So, like, it would be like Dash gets into the Wonderbolts, and then there's really nothing going on with the Wonderbolts. So it's not like there's more story ahead of her. Like, if you were to think about that, if they had walked into that with any care, there still would have been plenty of stuff to do, because I've been like, okay, now we're in the Wonderbolts, and it's a brand new thing, at least for Dash. But the big problem with doing that was that they can't just, like, take Dash away from the main cast and be like, this is her life now, which is part of what was really dumb about doing that. But, like, that... Realistically, if you're going to do that, be like, okay, so Dash is part of like this incredible sports team, and that's her life now, and she's going to drift away from all of her friends, and she's going to find new friends in the sports team, and that's a big adventure and everything else. Like, you know, like it's a totally different show at that point, and that's where they would have had to go with it. But they didn't. They were just like, Dash joins the Wonderbolts, and it's nothing. It's not. It doesn't require any of her time. There's nothing going on with it. Occasionally, she has these blowout arguments with them, and that's the subject of one episode. But then she's just like stays at home otherwise. I won the lottery, and now I'm the princess of money. What do I do with my money? Nothing. Yeah. So it was really weird. They just like they would have the characters realize the end of their arcs and then just dead end them on it, like cul-de-sac city. And so of course Andrea McCarthy, she gets on this film, and what is she gonna do? The characters in season 6 and 7 have nothing going on. Their personalities are more or less erased. So she just went back to the characterizations that were there for the earlier seasons that were interesting. But then it's really awkward because you have this whole film about these characters who have been like dead and gone for a couple of years now. And so I saw people being like, I don't understand why Twilight had to learn. She's the princess of friendship. Why did she have to learn friendship lessons again? It's like, because that was the character that worked back in the day. I don't know. So it's like maybe what you should do is you should watch seasons 1, 2, and 3, and then the film, and that's it. And then don't watch any of the rest of it. And maybe it makes sense in that context. Again, I didn't see the film, so
yeah, me neither. And I did post the image in the compulsive spam zone if you want to see.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll see. We'll look at the compulsive spam. The garbage barge is normally where you post. It's an Equestria Daily thing.
Yeah.
United Ponyverse.
And it was on 4chan. I found it on 4chan first, and I was like, "There's no fucking way. There's absolutely no way they're bringing this back." The thread was just them saying, "How are they going to fuck it up this time?" And I was like, okay. And then I just looked into it a little. I was like, there's no way that they're fucking bringing it back. And then I saw a wiki and this. I was like, oh shit.
That being said, we have a source saying that all of this might already be canceled. We'll wait for further
really?
information before. Yeah. They already can't unite the Ponyverse because Generation 5 established that everything that happened in Generation 4 was erased, dead, and buried.
Yeah.
And the ponies are racist again.
Yeah, in Gen 5.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you could keep rolling with that if you want, but you have to be a little earnest about what you've done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, goddamn stick pony.
Where are we? We need...
Or stickhead. That's what it is, stickhead.
Stickhead? Oh, is that what they call the... they don't call them boneheads? Do they not call
Apparently they call them stickheads now. I never knew it was boneheads, but yeah, I guess it's stickheads now.
Bonehead was always Bonehead was the insult that I don't think hardly anyone called anyone that in the series that I was doing, because the most racist pony was Rarity, and so she never used the slur. But the slurs that I always had in mind was Mud Pony, Horsefly, and Bonehead.
Mm. Yeah, they still call him Mud Pony for Earth, and I don't know about Pegasi. So
the show calls them Mud Ponies.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they have that at least. I don't know. Like Bonehead is right there. They got a bone protruding from their forehead. Bonehead.
Yeah.
Like, wow, did we miss this? Shameful. Just shameful.
It is. I mean, that's what 4chan says, stick pony, or stickhead, or whatever.
Stickhead? Why?
Yeah. Like, what is it? I'm trying to figure out what video was it that they said stickhead? God, I have to actually do some really dig deep for this. I swear to God, they said stickhead or something. They, at least on 4chan they do. They still do Mud Pony. I completely forgot about Pegasi. I don't even know what Pegasi are. But
Horsefly.
well, oh no, horsefly.
The horsefly.
Yeah.
Again, it's right there.
Let me see.
This should be easy.
Yeah, because there's a guy named, well, is it really 4chan or is it Tamers? I'm trying to remember.
Stickhead. I can't get over that. Stickhead. Like what a reach. What a stretch. Stickhead.
Because there's this guy named Tamers that makes My Little Pony shit now. He's a big guy. He uses what I think MS Paint or something, and he's really goddamn good at it, or whatever. I swear to God, either Tamers is the one that's like making me like. Tamers is either like just making his own lore, or he just knows the pony lore. But Tamers is so talented at making these like MS Paint like MS Paint ponies and Sonic the Hedgehog characters or whatever. He's a huge, what is it? Like he's a huge Sonic was it? Yeah, Sonic Underground. Yeah, Sonic Underground fan. And he started off with Sonic Underground. And then just out of nowhere, he just started doing like My Little Pony shit. And he brings in the racial slurs for the ponies. And he keeps Mud Pony, and I think it is Horsefly, but I gotta rewatch Tamers now. At this point, I'll watch it in the background while we talk. But oh my God, I think he uses stickhead, and then everyone on 4chan ran with it and said, "Oh yeah, fucking stickhead" or something like that.
That's so disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm so let down by that. Like, man, stickhead.
He was Cal Anon said actually he admitted he has no idea. I think he said it was his mom that liked ponies. He's winging it. Yeah. Apparently, Tamers doesn't watch the show at all. That's what he claims, at least. But at the same time, he is spot on. Or well, I feel like Tamers honestly has been on the internet for so long to the point where he knows like some Brony bullshit, like the Soren X Brayburn or whatever, and like he saw art of that or something, or he just maybe just looked up like a shipping of like who's the most hottest ship in the Brony community, and then that popped up for some reason, because I remember when I was a kid I saw that and I was like, oh, that's cool.
DC Supergirls. Yeah, I haven't watched the DC Supergirls show. Partly because by the time it came out, I basically no longer had cable. I'm not sure where it's at, where you watch it. I've become isolated from a lot of things just on the basis of like I have to figure out what streaming service has. Is this on Netflix? I think we still have Netflix. We've watched so little Netflix that we're going to let the thing expire, and then wound up not, because it turns out that these days, like I think that our credit card expired, and so my wife was like, "I'll just not update my credit card with them, and then it'll bounce, and they'll cancel our subscription, and I won't have to go through the trouble. Like I won't have to call or do the or sign off or anything like that." But apparently now, companies can just ask your credit card provider what your new credit card is, and that's what they did, and so we still have Netflix. And I guess I can watch the Supergirls on Netflix for a little while until we go and actually cancel the contract. So Netflix.
You know, or you could just pirate, you know.
I could. I don't know. I quit bothering with that because a lot of things I didn't really want to watch that badly. Like it used to be that Kiss Cartoon or whatever was available.
Yeah.
But their servers kept moving, and every time they got shut down, they would be replaced by a phishing website that was just laden with 1,000,000 trillion viruses, and I was just like,
Yeah.
I'll just not take the risk on it. And
God.
so in the last season, the ponies had an academy where the sons of the vassals came to learn the pony way. Oh yeah. I watched those episodes. To catch up with the show. I don't think I watched the last season. But it was pretty, I don't know, the friendship school was just like a mess. It was like, but why? And then they introduced all these characters that go to the friendship school, and they really kind of, it's like, it was pretty I don't know. It was dull.
Did you watch the whole series of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic?
I don't think I saw the last season, but
yeah. Then, again, I stopped at season 5. I honestly don't know why, but I just stopped watching My Little Pony and just kind of went like, whatever. I'll just not watch this, and here I am again, back on the ride again. I just need to I honestly need to just watch the whole entire series and go like, okay, why are bronies complaining about this?
got this thing incorrect.
I was just happy that Trixie and Starlight were given the time together. Yeah, they look cute together. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. They honestly look cute together.
I enjoyed. Trixie was the last character that I could still enjoy by the time all of that was done. She was still cantankerous and opinionated and had personality and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else kind of got wiped out a little bit. Okay, let's see. There's our Tikrin Works. factory, so you go through that door, and then our first kind of adventure begins. There's some other, like, I got... Before I get really into it, I would like to finish off some items for our main character. Some rocks out here.
Do you plan on making a soundtrack for this game?
Yeah, there is actually there's music that already plays right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen during the stream, it's music that I made a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
We got sound effects and stuff. So yes, there is a soundtrack for it. The stream can... How's the game going? Says my boys. It's going well. We're at a stage where we're just about to actually get into the proper gameplay stuff. So this is it. You're going through that door, and then you're in the factory. You'll meet your first like ally character. We'll run you through it. But I gotta build the ally characters. I gotta make their turnarounds and everything. Their rigs. So there's still some preliminary work to do. I could theoretically just take the rig I have for the main character and like recolor them. The little guy is so small that going through the trouble to do anything with detail I don't know if it'll be worth it, but yeah, I don't know. And here we go. Here's our factory. We're supposed to go in here. And then we do some stuff. We'll fight some things. We'll be introduced to the mechanics of the game. We got a little park. A little drain pipe. It's coming. Bits at a time. But yeah, it's about noon. So I think I'll go ahead and I'll wrap it up here because I'm going to go get lunch, and then after lunch I'm going to work on the podcast. So we'll do a shorter stream today. Look, thank you.
It was a pleasure talking to you, man. It really has.
Yeah, that's good. We hang out a lot. I don't know if you like war games. Oh, speaking of, we could probably drop since we're going here at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
We sometimes will post the Discord link in the chats. So I haven't done that in about a week. Nobody wants to hop in. But anyway, though, on like Saturday nights we do war games. We play a game called A Song of Ice and Fire, and you can play that on a simulator. So I don't know if you're into that, but we're always trying to drag more people. Yeah,
I'll be down. I just have to learn the game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it doesn't take too long. It'll take about like an hour or so to pick it up.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want, I can add you. I can give you a role, and then we can ping you when we...
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Like, do I have to install anything, or...?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all online. It's all free. So we can explain it on the day. But anyway, that's it. I'm going to go. So thanks for joining me. Everybody's in here. And I'll catch you tomorrow.
Yeah, bye. This is totally button mash.
Okay, goodbye.